gonna talk to them from here for a minute. Hello, everybody. I hope that you can see us. We are the Royal Wind Music, and we are right here at the Blue Note of the Conservatorium van Amsterdam. We are here tonight to talk to you about our most recent project, the Orange Tree Courtyard, and to play some music for you. Now, we've been having some slight technical problems, as it always belongs to someone who tries to do a live stream for the first time. So we hope that you can hear and see what we have to tell, and that you can excuse if the audio quality is a bit poorer than we would like. Don't hesitate to leave us comments in the chat so that we can see them as we go along. Okay, we're gonna hope that you can hear us, and we're gonna start with a little bit of music for you, because that's what we are here for. We play for you a short piece called Provignan de Meliot. Okay, we hope that you have been able to enjoy that. If there's anyone who could tell us in the chat if you can actually hear us, it would be really fantastic. Hello as well to all our followers on Instagram Live. We hope you can hear something from what we are doing. Right, we are here and we are the Royal Wind Music, as we have said before. And we are an ensemble existing since 1997 already. And we talk to you today from the Amsterdam Conservatoire, which is exactly the place where this ensemble started to exist. Yes, we can hear you. Yay! Wonderful. Yes, so our ensemble has always been quite international. And to show you how much that is true, I'm going to ask all my colleagues to introduce themselves and to say where they are from. I hope they can say it loud and clear for you. There we go.
I am Filipa. I am from Portugal.
Hello, my name is Petri. I come from Finland.
I'm Margarita from Portugal.
My name is Hugo, and I'm from Finland.
My name is Francesca, and I come from England.
I'm Irene from Spain.
Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm also from England. I'm Martin from Portugal.
And I am Maria, and I come from Spain. And today, unfortunately, due to different circumstances, we are missing some very important people in the ensemble. Verena Marielle from Germany. We're missing Hester Groenleer from the Netherlands. And we are also missing Anna Stegmann from Germany. May any of them be watching? Hello, guys. We miss you, and we look forward to play with you again very soon. Right. As you probably already know, our passion is the music of the late 15th and the 16th century, and we feel that we have quite a strong connection to that repertoire because it can be moving, it can be fun, it can be intellectually challenging, it can be compelling, but also a lot of fun. So we would like to just continue by playing another piece of this wonderful music for you before we tell you more. It's going to be a little dance by Alonso de Mudarra, who was an excellent player of the vihuela, the sort of precursor of the guitar that was very popular in Spain in the 16th century. We get ready and play for you Galliard by Mudarra.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Oh, yes, okay. So, if I could only see myself, yeah, I'm sure you can. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us with such a large number today. And we are the Royal Wind Music, and we would like to give a warm welcome to those new listeners who also just came online now. So the reason for this evening's session is that we are about to make a recording of this repertoire in a few weeks, and the CD will be released in the end of this year or beginning of next year at the latest. Now, and of course, the CD will be released on the Pan Classics on the German label. Now, a CD recording is a great opportunity to capture something important, a great project, a great concept for the whole world to listen to. And it's also a great challenge, an artistic challenge for us to make it so good and perfect that we actually will like it for years to come. And but now, in the classical music CD production scene, this is not very profitable nowadays, and there we need your help. So please, if you feel like you'd like to contribute, please go to the link below to our crowdfunding campaign and choose the perk you like most. And there, thank you. We will continue with some music, and now I will give first, before that, I will give the word to Maria again. See you soon. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Petri. Well, I just want to add that about that crowdfunding, we are actually doing quite well because we are at the moment on 69% of our goal. We have 4 days left, and we get to actually keep all the donations that have been coming in, which are already more than 103 different donors from all over the world. Thank you, everyone, very, very much. If we manage to reach the 80%, it's just a few more €100, then we can actually keep all the donations and we can actually record the CD. So it would be really great if you can visit the link below in the video description And if you can share it with your contacts, there's only 4 days left, so very soon the project is over. It's now or never. Right, thank you very much for that. And yes, just want to very quickly tell you that, of course, all music that we play for you tonight is also part of the repertoire we are going to record for the CD. And that is why we have tried to play as many pieces as possible so that you get an impression and hopefully get the motivation to help us and carry this project out. And, well, we're just going to go on with some more music. In this case, we're going to play 2 songs for you. The first song is very, very sad. It's about someone whose lover is leaving and he doesn't understand, or, well, in this case, it's actually more her. She doesn't understand why her friend is leaving her. So she says, which reason could you have not to love me? Why are you leaving me? Immediately after that, we play a very silly song, which is simply about a very pretty girl who is a brunette, and we just sing something nice about that. Okay, I hope you enjoy. They are both songs by Juan Vázquez, ¿Qué razón podéis tener? And Morenica me era yo. Okay, hello to everyone who is watching. I see some nice messages in the chat. We have someone watching from Japan, someone watching from Poland who asked, when do you concert in Poland? Oh, we wish we would have any chance to go there. We would love to visit. I hope we can make it possible. If you have tips for us where we should play, then we are happy to try and contact festivals and venues everywhere. We also have someone from Italy that is really great, and someone who wishes us that we reach the 80%. Well, thank you all for being there. It means a lot to us that you are watching at this moment, so this is absolutely wonderful. Of course, part of the reason to do this stream today is also to maybe answer some questions that you may have. Perhaps some of you are recorder players yourselves. Perhaps you have been following our ensemble and have questions about how we work or our ensemble techniques, our rehearsals, anything. If you have questions for us, then please type them in the chat, and then when I come here next time, we can go through some of them. We have also someone watching from Germany. Wonderful, all of you from different countries. That's fantastic. Yes, so think about any questions or things you may want to talk about with us, and we will do that after the next piece of music. In this moment, I would just like to quickly tell you a little bit, because we haven't done that yet, about the concept or the idea behind the program that we are going to record on the CD. It's a collection of music that is inspired by one building, and a very beautiful one, very inspiring one, Seville Cathedral. If you have been to Seville, then for sure you have seen this magnificent cathedral, which is right in the center of the city. And what we have done is pick 7 different places within the building, and to each of those places we connect a few pieces of music that may have directly to do with the musicians who work there, but sometimes it may be a little bit more freely inspired simply by people who passed by people whose manuscripts are kept at the library of the cathedral. Well, it can be very open, but in total we have a collection of motets, songs, organ music, all kinds of things that we hope will make a very nice collection on CD, and that also will somehow call an association to all these very interesting places full of history in the cathedral. So we would like to continue by offering you one of the more serious and deep pieces that we have in our program. It's a motet by Francisco Guerrero, who was a chapel master at the cathedral for many years. And he is also buried in one of the chapels in the cathedral. And that chapel is one of the places that we chose as an inspiration for our program. So when we get to that point in the program, we perform 2 funeral motets in the memory of Francisco Guerrero and another two composers who are buried in the same chapel. And right now we are going to play for you one of them, which is called Hey Mihi Domine by Francisco Guerrero. And so you can also get an impression of one of the deepest and also lowest pieces on our program. Okay, wonderful. Yes, so Yeah, about the question about concerts in Poland. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any concrete plans at the moment, but we hope that once we will make it there. It's one of the countries where we have not yet performed, so it would really be absolutely fantastic to visit. Any other questions from you? Because, you know, we love, of course, to play music for you, but we also would love to know if you have anything else that you would like to know about us. And thank you for your compliments. Just I tell my colleagues, they're saying it sounds beautiful. So thank you for that. Yes. It would just be so nice if this is your chance. You need a good camera and microphone. Yes, that is true. We have a good camera and microphone in this room. Unfortunately, there were some problems with the connection. We tested some things beforehand, and then when we got to the actual session, it didn't work anymore. We will try to learn from this so that it doesn't happen again in the future. You are absolutely right. We just give you a few seconds in case you want to comment on anything else, because it's now or never. If you don't have any questions, then we will soon move on to last piece of music before we say goodbye. Someone says, don't be shy, lads, come a little bit closer. Come on, come a little closer. Come. Look, they're coming. They're not shy. They're just afraid that we don't all really fit here in front of the computer. So, Franco, here they are. They are coming. What do you want to tell them?
Yeah, it takes some time.
Yes, there is, of course, a bit of delay between the image that people are seeing and us here in the studio.
Maybe you can say some things that they might want to ask, like how long you spent on the program and how long you rehearsed for.
My colleagues here are suggesting questions that you may want to ask.
No, maybe you can already
Francisco
answer.
says nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, nice to meet you, Franco. What is fascinating us, especially about the music of the 15th century? Well,
Go, Maria.
Maybe someone else feels like telling a little bit about that. Otherwise, you know, I've been talking about.
Well, one thing for
Come
sure
closer.
is well, just briefly. One thing is that 16th century that was right.
15th. He
15th.
said actually 15th.
Oh, 15th century. Well, 15th century is the first century that we sort of qualify as full Renaissance century. Of course, it began a little bit earlier, some other places and so on, or a bit later in Spain and so on. But if you mean like 1500s, which is mostly the repertoire we actually are playing. Of course, we have Peñalosa, which is a bit earlier, but in general, this is the century where the instruments emancipated, one could say. So and consorts were sort of born of consorts of all sorts of instruments, of plucked instruments, wind instruments, anything, keyboard instruments, lutes, you name it. So that is one fascination, and of course we have this recorder consort of 40 plus instruments, and that is one reason. And what was the question actually?
What fascinates us about the music of the 15th century?
Yeah, but okay, if you really mean 15th century, then I think, which is 1400s, then I would say. Personally, it's the birth of functional harmony. That is an important sort of cornerstone of all this musical history we are dealing with.
Any other fascination?
It's very nice to play any line because all of them are beautiful melodies, and that's something special of counterpoint, which was starting from 1400s and going until 1700s. So that's mostly the repertoire we play, and each of us has a beautiful line to play. That's special.
More thoughts on that? Yeah, that's. I completely agree with my colleagues, and in the meantime, I see that we have also another question, also from Franco from Italy. He asks, in your repertoire, is there something from the Middle Ages, or for instance, the Livre Vermel and so on? Not so far. Only very occasionally we make some arrangements or performances of older music than 1450, because we like to think of ourselves as a sort of polyphonic ensemble, and the tradition before is most of all monodic tradition. So, well, occasionally we have performed a Gregorian melody or a monophonic song, but our consort is, of course, as Petri just mentioned, something that fits probably best to a little bit later music. Musashino Record Ensemble is asking if we have been to Japan before. No, we have not been to Japan, but we really want to go there. How can we get to Japan? What do we have to do? I have contacted some agents, but they didn't reply to me yet. So we have been trying a few times, but I think the difficulty with our ensemble is that we are so many of us, and we are a little bit unusual, so it's difficult to convince someone to fly you all the way over to Asia, but I hope that we will get to Japan. That would be fantastic. Would you like to go to Japan?
Yes!
Yes, so you see, it's not a lack of motivation, that's for sure. Yes, and well, do you have any further questions? Because otherwise, we will soon move on to the last piece, but we just give you a few more seconds in case you... Please come to Japan someday. Yes, exactly. We really hope we will come. We want to go to every country in the world. We have been really lucky to travel to the States and to Mexico. Those are the furthest countries we have been to, and we've been everywhere in Europe. Our colleague Verena is online, and she wants to go to Japan with us, of course. But we look forward. It would be really great, of course, to visit Japan, to visit Korea, to visit Taiwan, all the countries with such a strong recorder tradition in Asia, Australia, well,
New Zealand.
It's a matter of time. We're working on it. We hope we'll get there. Right. Do we have any tips for women composers from the Renaissance? Strozzi,
Magdalena Casulana.
Maddalena Casulana. Yeah, some names are coming up
It's
here.
Italian.
Barbara Strozzi, Maddalena Casulana, but I think they're a little bit later, right? Like 17th century.
Casulana is from the end of 15th till middle 16th. So it's actually from the Mantua. Oh yeah, so just Magdalena Casulana was one Italian woman composer and I believe lutenist as well, and she lived and I believe was also a royal family in the correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Medici family, I believe, but yeah, she's.
This is early Baroque, but Francesca Caccini, the daughter of Caccini, is also a nice one.
Yes, and 17th century I know as well Isabella Leonarda, who wrote instrumental music for gamba and so on. I think in the Renaissance there were quite some women composers like nuns, for example, in convents where they had to produce a bit their own music. I'm not at all an expert in this theme, but I know that there's an ensemble in the UK who is absolutely specialized on how females performed and composed music in the age of polyphony. So maybe later I can type their name in the chat and you can check them out. It's probably very interesting for you. Okay, in the meantime I see another question from Julia Wetzel. Hello, Julia. We know you from Orda. How do you manage to learn the music by heart, especially all the parts except from the melody? Yeah, that is a question that probably many of my colleagues have strong opinions about. So maybe I will let someone talk who has not spoken yet. Maybe Francesca.
Yeah, I think everyone has different methods for learning by heart. It takes a long time. I think we can all maybe give like one or two methods. I think for me it's about learning the intricacies of my line. So if it isn't melodic, then you learn patterns. So it could be 3-bar patterns or 4-bar patterns. And then once you've learned a 4-bar phrase, I move on to the next 4 bars, and then you put them together, and then you keep doing it like this. It's a bit like a jigsaw, putting them together. Yeah, maybe someone else has another way that they learn. I'm quite interested to see what everyone else does, to be honest.
Think about this a lot.
Well, I think that some people will learn with fingers, so they have a very much physical memory. I personally use a lot of photo memory. I can see a bit of page in my head, and sometimes even on the bar numbers, and a lot of tone memory, so note memory. So it's also funny when you talk to each other and to talk with other musicians about this. That some people really go with the fingers, others go with the notes, and so I think it depends with everybody.
And some people do a bit of everything.
Yes, yeah, and probably a lot of people do a lot of memories together.
Yes, and when it comes to working together, we always work first from the sheet music, so we rehearse first all the details we want while still reading from our parts, and then later on we introduce we let go of the sheet music and just practice playing by heart and the communication and the rest of the aspects that come to it. So we already have the music quite internalized at the moment that we are actually learning it by heart individually, and that we are going to perform it by heart. Usually, like for this program we are playing now, we worked for 2 months before we had the first concerts with it, and this is always a very intense period which takes a lot of work from everybody, which is of course why this ensemble is slightly crazy, because we all are willing to make that effort of knowing the music so deeply that we can really let go of the score on the stage.
I could maybe add quickly that it's important during the whole process to or this also varies, of course, between all the members, but I personally think that it's good to know your line without the context and with the context. So then, in case something happens on the stage, you can always go on with your line because you remember it in sort of absolute terms. But then again, it's also good to know the relative context to your part, because if you yourself make a mistake, then you know to correct how to correct your line if you skipped a beat.
And if I can just add one more thing, more than memorizing the notes is memorizing the bars of rests. That's where it gets tricky, because memorizing a melody is easy, but then you really have to know how many bars of rest you have. So that's
that of course.
Yeah. I think a lot of the aspects of it came out now, and that's hopefully something that's helpful. And yeah, it's true that middle lines are supposed to be harder than melody lines and basses, because we are more focused on those lines. But I would say for myself that it's much harder for me to learn, let's say, a dance that we play 4 times and each repetition has different diminutions. Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing to do, because you have the same music and you have to remember, okay, now I have to do it this way, now I have to do it that way. You don't have that freedom as if you are improvising. While I can learn a very strange middle part of a motet quite quickly, because it's one story and it also relates to a context of imitation, harmonies that I can remember, and this helps me a lot. Right, any important point to add?
No.
Okay, because there's also a question, I want to know about your big instruments. And well, of course, the biggest instrument we have is the sub-contrabass recorder, and maybe someone feels called to tell something about it, or maybe you can put it up also so we can just confirm which one we're talking about. This is certainly a very special instrument because there are actually only 5 of them in the whole world. And soon there will be a 6th one.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really quite special, and it's made of pear wood, which means basically that an entire tree was used to make this recorder, and now it's standing here. Marco is holding it. It's a design that is not a copy of a Renaissance model, because in the 16th century, the largest recorder that was ever made, as far as we know, was like 2.5 meters, and this one is almost 3. And also that really large bass, which is now kept in Antwerp, is a little bit of a special extended bass, which works a bit differently than the recorders we are used to. But the idea behind this one is that you take a Renaissance contrabass in F, which are the tall ones standing in the back behind Marco, and you just take those proportions and make them bigger and make an instrument that is tuned a 5th lower in B flat. And then you get, here we see the contrabass, and a 5th lower is the sub-contrabass. Instruments in the Renaissance used to be tuned in 5ths, 5th apart, recorders at least in the consorts, and that is why the designers of this instrument, who were 3 very important people, Adriana Breukink, recorder maker, Paul Leinhouts, the founder of the Royal Wind Music and a teacher of many of us in the room today, and Winfried Hackel, who collaborated with them, so a recorder player and musician from Austria. They together came up with this wonderful design, and we are very happy that they did, because it adds a lot of warmth and spirit to the bass section of Royal Wind Music. Yes, and as we said, the other large instruments are contrabasses. They are all in F. Contrabass in F was the most, the sort of largest usual size during the Renaissance. It was probably quite a luxury thing back in the days, and well, we could say it is still today, because it's not an instrument that you buy when you are starting to play the recorder. You only buy it when you already have a lot of other recorders and you build up your collection towards the bass section. But we are very lucky that that we have 6 or 7 of them at our disposal, so that we can make use of them. Yes, someone is asking, how much do we rehearse and how long do we play together? Well, about how long we play together, technically the ensemble exists already since 1997. So that is, of course, a very long time. And many people in this room are way younger than that, like some of them may have been born around that time. Well, not quite. Quite. We have a 1997 person.
I'm 1996.
So do you have.
Yeah, so you see, so the ensemble has existed for a long time. I have played in it myself since 2001, and my colleague Hester since 2000. So we have been members of the group for 20 years by now and longer. But I think it's a privilege that we can combine people with a young spirit like ourselves with people who are actually young in spirit and body, because in this way we inspire each other with combining, experience and things with, of course, the wish to learn and work hard that you have when you are young. And together, I think we stand quite strong. About how often we play together. Well, planning is quite difficult with 11 players, so I think at the moment we could say an average of 3 rehearsal days a month, or 2 to 3, something like that, in average.
I guess we work on project-based more.
So yeah, exactly. Some months we may not meet because we don't have concerts. We have a program ready, and then we don't need to meet so often. When we are working on a new program, then we come together for intensive weekends of rehearsals and work more. What is the maximum number of parts in a piece you ever played? We've performed 12-part
I
music,
think it was,
and
oh yeah.
I think 12 was the maximum number of individual parts. We have not yet done projects that were much bigger than our own setting, so we have not done Spem in Allium and all these 40 or 80 parts pieces, for example. But we have done 12-part music, and we did last year Mass by Palestrina, which had 3 different choirs, and all of them were doubled. So yeah, that involved also students here from the Amsterdam Conservatoire. It was a lot of fun. But I think 12 is the maximum number of parts we have ever played. You must be strong to play on the 3 meters instrument. Yes, that's why Marco is in Petri are usually in charge, and Juho. Dan, you saw before, they're in charge. No,
Also,
actually,
Helena.
yes, exactly.
And Anna.
I was about to say, of course, immediately you'll realize that strength is here present in all layers of the group. We have Verena and Anna and Hester also playing the subcontrabass very often. Actually, strength is not really the main point, but the main point is that your stretch of your fingers between these 3 fingers must be long enough that you can actually deal with covering the holes and the key for the 3rd finger. That's the toughest thing on that instrument. The most difficult thing about playing in this ensemble. Okay, let's do a quick round, and whoever wants to say what is the most difficult thing about playing in the Royal Wind Music. There are no difficulties when you're having fun.
Well,
come on.
Yeah, okay. I guess to remember every single appointment, like detail, every single detail.
Okay, more difficult. He took it away from you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Tuning can be challenging sometimes.
Okay, that's.
I think also concentration in a concert to play by heart all the pieces
that's
for
also,
sometimes 1 hour or more.
And concentration in challenging situations like cold churches, where your fingers are really cold and you can only think of this, and you have to think of so many more things.
In this setting, it is staying in the flow really when it's so delicate because you're all there's no sheet music to rely on. So that staying really keeping your flow individually and in the group level.
Yeah, so as you see, for everyone, it boils down to that individual concentration and to the fragility of our own choices, which at the same time I think are our strengths, because playing by heart is a challenge. It also adds something, but therefore it makes it extra challenging for us. So, yeah, I agree with my colleagues as well. It obviously looks fun. Thank you. Did you ever try non-Renaissance repertoire on Renaissance recorders? Yes, sometimes. We actually, last October, premiered a really interesting piece. Maybe Francesca can tell us a little bit about the piece we premiered during the Open Recorder Days Amsterdam.
Well, second performance, Open Recorder
Yes,
Days Amsterdam.
true.
We premiered it in Potsdam, and they commissioned the piece for us. And we chose a composer called Jan of Straten, a Belgian composer, and he wrote.
Which happens to be
Her husband.
Francesca's husband.
I wasn't going to tell everyone that.
But we chose him because he's a great composer.
Yeah, and he wrote. Well, that was actually 13 parts, right? So actually 13.
No, that is correct. Yeah, of course.
It was with electronics, but also with a group of other players.
Yeah, like amateurs.
Amateurs, or can be anyone, and they make sort of a soundscape of birds, and it's called Dawn Chorus. So it's the time when everything is still and everything starts to wake up. The sun starts to come up. The birds come alive and things happen, and it's about listening to all those different things. It's a beautiful soundscape, and we did the second performance in Open Recorder Days Amsterdam in October, which was really fun. I think we had, how many people on stage? 60 people on stage?
Yeah, something like 65, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we made a really great recording of it, so you can watch it.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube, on the YouTube channel of the Open Recorder Days Amsterdam. If you look there, you will find the recording of this contemporary piece. So yeah, we are definitely open for that. Yes, and in the past we've also done other premieres because we've also performed a piece by the founder of our ensemble, Paul Leinhaus. He also composed a piece for us, also related to the Open Recorder Days Amsterdam, but then in 2017, and he came to conduct that himself. That also involved the Royal Wind Music and a group of amateur players. It was a very challenging but really fun piece, but unfortunately we do not have a recording of that one that we can show you. But we hope that once we will be able to do it again, because it involved not only recorders but also the audience playing on bike bells and some other crazy things, and we had a didgeridoo solo in the middle of it. It was absolutely great fun. Great, and well, thank you for all the compliments. You are calling us the best wind players of the world. I think you maybe. I hope that means you're gonna give to our crowdfunding. No, that's a joke. And well, we are really happy to have been able to chat with you for a little while, and. If it's okay, we are going to say goodbye to you soon, but of course we don't want to do that without playing some more little bit of music. So for the end of our little program, we left one of the most fun pieces in our CD program, which is a little song from the 15th century, actually, since we spoke about it before. It's called Niña y Viña, and well, the subject of the song is maybe not so important, but let's say it's just about this girl who goes out in the garden and is in love. Well, it's a very light song. And it's 3-part music. So what you're about to hear now will be 9 people playing 3-part music in 3 different registers. We're going to have a really high concert with Francesca, Margarita, and myself when I join them. And then we have a middle concert. And we have a low concert. So in this case, we are playing in 3 different octaves and trying to make a nice combination of these 3 registers. And to answer the last question that just came in, I like Søren Sig. Will you play his piece? Well, Søren is absolutely a very fun composer, and if he writes us a piece, we will play it. So let's see. Søren, if you're out there, we're waiting for your composition. Okay, well, this is all we had ready for today. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, we get a comment from our follower in Germany who is saying that, of course, I've already given to your crowdfunding. We didn't try to offend anyone, and we are really, really extremely grateful, not only for all the donations, but also simply for you being here this evening to have 30 people watching some crazy people with a bad microphone making Renaissance music in Amsterdam means a lot to us. You are great, so pleasant. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. This really makes us feel that indeed what we are doing is absolutely not for nothing. It means something to someone, and those someones are all over the world. So that's absolutely fantastic. And well, we've had a lot of fun despite our technical difficulties, sharing some time with you. We promise we will do it again soon in the coming months, and then we are going to test and retest our good camera and our good microphone so that every time is more fun. We hopefully will be complete as well with our colleagues Verena, Hester, and Anna. And well, this has been a great way to start maybe a new tradition of having nice evenings with the Royal Wind Music. So thank you all so much, and come here, let's say goodbye to our friends. Please tour California. Yeah, that's also a good idea. Absolutely. Yes, we okay. So California, Japan, New Zealand, Poland, absolutely. Yes, we're going to work really hard on our concert sales so that we can make all these wishes true. And well, thank you so much for being there. And yes, we will see you at our next soirée. So thank you all. Thank you for being there.